And Kamala Persad-Bissessar supports the US invasion of the Caribbean. There's a reason I've never liked Kamala Persad-Bissessar. She's a Tutsi. A Tutsi like Holness. Imagine two of her Caribbean nationals, two of her Trinidadians have been killed by Trump's invasion of the Caribbean. And she endorses. But listen to how Donna Scott Motley came out. Listen to how Donna Scott Motley came out pressing against Holness. Listen to what Donna Scott Motley had to say tonight.
The parliamentary opposition is raising alarm tonight over reports of U.S. military strikes in Caribbean waters. The shadow spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, Senator Donna Scott Motley, addressed the issue today.
Dozens are said to have been killed in drone strikes against vessels operating in Caribbean waters. Among them, 2 Trinidadians, while 2 others of undisclosed nationality are reportedly being detained by the U.S. Army. Shadow Minister for Foreign, Regional and Diaspora Affairs, Senator Donna Scott Motley, says the actions threatens the sovereignty and security of Caribbean nations.
The Caribbean community's vision of this region as a zone of peace is under threat. Our people are entitled to pursue their livelihoods free from the shadow of militarization. These waters sustain life and commerce. They are not to be transformed into a theater of war.
The opposition senator reiterated that CARICOM's tradition of diplomacy and non-alignment remains one of the region's greatest strengths. She is now urging Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, in his capacity as CARICOM chairman, to convene urgent consultations among member states to craft a united response.
The Caribbean cannot afford to normalize extrajudicial actions in its waters. We must stand together to ensure that the principles of peace, sovereignty, and international law guide our future.
Senator Scott Motley warns that failing to respond decisively could erode the region's independence and set a dangerous precedent for foreign intervention in its water. It remains to be seen how CARICOM leaders will react to the call for a unified stance. Rashida Walker, for TV.
So already you know Trinidad has descended to say they're supporting the United States. I will not be surprised by the stance taken by Holness, the head of CARICOM. I will not be surprised by the stance taken by Holness. You realize how Holness is silent. Had Mia Motley been the Prime Minister or the Chairman of CARICOM, I believe a different approach would have been taken. But Holness cannot stand up against the United States because he's compromised. Compromised. And because the US knows he's compromised, they have him as their biggest puppet. They have him, Jamaica, as their biggest puppet. You would have expected by now, you would have heard a comment from CARICOM chairman. But no comment from the CARICOM chairman. Because Craven A is a puppet. And then the United States come out further to say they are going to be doing further interventions in the Caribbean. The defense chief announced another attack on alleged drug-running boat. This is what they're using, drug-running boats. But is it really drug running boats? Is it really drug running boats, Jamaica? Where is the proof of the drugs on the boat? Can you believe any narrative given by this Trump administration? I'm just asking you. Can you believe any narrative given by this Trump administration? Or is it a way to overthrow the Venezuelan government? You remember how, let me drag you back in history. Do you remember the Petro-Carib agreement? Do you all remember the Petro-Carib agreement? Where Jamaica was getting preferential treatment and was getting oil from Venezuela to a point that they never even had to pay for the oil right away, thanks to Portia and thanks to PJ. Who remember the Petro-Carib agreement? When Venezuela was a friend to Jamaica. And you remember who turned their backs on Venezuela? You remember who turned their backs on Venezuela? When you used to get the cheap oil. When you used to get the oil. You don't remember? It was Camina and Andrew who washed their hands of the Venezuelans and even closed the Venezuelan embassy in Jamaica. Chavez, PJ and Portia were very good friends. Chavez, PJ and Portia were very good friends. And out of that, students could have traveled free to Venezuela to study. And this one, she and Andrew Holness mash up the agreement. It was Philip Powell, then energy minister, who got that agreement. You were getting cheap oil. You never had to pay for the oil right away. And Jamaica turned their backs. Turned their backs on a very good friend, Venezuela. Turned their backs on their very good friends, Venezuela. Those two Tutsis. Holness did that. Because he was instructed by Trump at the time. And anywhere, research this, Jamaica. Anywhere that has a large sum of oil and can do well for themselves economically. Hello, good night.
Good night, Professor. I didn't even want to interrupt you with this Caribbean thing and the boats that are being blown up. But let me tell you something. Andrew Holness is a problem because Jamaica is the most powerful country in CARICOM, apart from him being the chairperson. So you have to look at it on that side also. And Jamaica is at a close transshipment point to the USA, so it has bargaining power. And the Chinese have significant investment in Venezuela and Jamaica also. Andrew Holness should come out and say something about what is happening, because the people are being killed in the Caribbean waters.
Yes.
And then You know that man in the US, he tells a whole lot of lies whenever he does his damage,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And in the US, they're having a lot of protests against him.
Yes.
And he's just bombing our Caribbean people like that with impunity. And Andrew Holness sits there so complicit.
But you know, no one can
Right?
talk. He does not want his visa. Remember, I say the Panamanian president already is being compromised with their visas to be taken away by the US government. So because him know that in the meeting with Rubio, if them don't be complicit, their visas is going to be taken away. That is why he's so silent.
And right now, Pres Gustave of Colombia, he's under pressure right now. Right? And Andrew Holness not saying anything about, and as you said, Venezuela was such a good country to us, and Andrew Holness and his posse enrich themselves from Venezuelan oil money. Because if they were to pay those loans, the government's resources would have been depleted significantly.
You remember how much Venezuela
they allowed the oil deal to collapse so that they, Andrew Holness and his crew can be the beneficiaries.
Yes.
You know, but it's very sad, man. And from what I am hearing, more people are going to be killed in the Caribbean waters because you have a guy like Andrew Holness who is doing nothing to save lives.
Mighty God.
Right? If we had a good prime minister,
yes,
a good prime minister would come out and say, listen, if you come into our country, we're going to charge you for war crimes. Yes. Whether him or his diplomats, meaning like Rubio and all of them, if they are caught in Jamaica, they should be prosecuted. That's how you have to speak.
Yes.
Right? He's not doing nothing at all to protect the lives of these people.
You know much fisherman.
I can understand the fishermen.
You know much fisherman now go to sea?
No, man. If they really go out there, Andre, they would be suicidal.
Mighty God.
You know that so many, but remember, you know, that man in the US is not dealing with any law or order, you know, my friend.
True.
So just know that if he catches you,
yes,
that's the end of it. And guess what? I think the last boat that was bombed, I think there are 2 survivors. And he repatriated the 2 survivors to their country because they weren't doing anything wrong. They weren't doing anything wrong. The man is just committing his crimes and then tell a whole lot of lies. But good point, man. I didn't even want to interrupt you because you are at it perfectly right now.
Thank
and
you,
I see you're in your prime element.
All right.
So, what I'm saying, man, it's guys like Andrew Holness that is causing these problems. Andrew Holness. He cannot say anything to save lives. Right? Because probably the US have him in money laundering or, you know, having access to certain things that otherwise he shouldn't have been involved with.
All right.
But
thank you
it's
for
a
your
good
perspective.
topic. If you can pressure the topic to save some lives. You know, and I mean the matter should be reported to the International Criminal Court also.
But I can tell them, we are in a sad place. You realize who are Andrew's friends? The Israeli Prime Minister and Trump. This is not a good sign. Not a good sign.
Can you imagine?
Jamaica.
And you know, the Venezuelans are loving people. Very nice people. Don't watch that man who is demonizing them. Lie. It's just lies and lies and lies to justify their war crimes. But Holness has to say something, man, because I'm going to reiterate that apart from Andrew Holness being the chairman of CARICOM, Jamaica is the most powerful country within the Caribbean. So, he has to address the matter. He should be compelled to address the matter.
Yeah, man. All right, thank you for your
perspective. So let us call on Mia Mottleys and the rest of them.
Mottleys
to call out Andrew Holness on the matter. Okay.
But I can tell you, Jamaica, You won't see me, you won't see Ralph Gonzalez saying anything right now. He's in the middle of an election. And you don't want interventions from foreign territories make him lose the election in St. Vincent. And Motley too will have elections soon. So you might not see them talking right now. But I can tell you, thank God for PJ Patterson. An elderly statesman who can stand up against the wiles of the United States. Can you imagine? Is it really drugs the motive? Or is it the black oil? And you see Jamaica? Very soon, you'll soon understand the emerge. You remember the Cold War? What is happening right now is a replica of the Cold War. Tonight's homework is to go and research the Cold War. To go and research the Cold War. And look at what is happening in the Caribbean right now. And see if it is a reflection of what happened in the Cold War era. But Jamaica will keep silent because they don't want their visas to be taken away. Jamaica is too silent. The CARICOM chairman and the Prime Minister of Jamaica is very silent. And ask yourselves, why is he so silent? But because he's a transactional whore. Because he's a transactional whore, Jamaica. He's a transactional whore. Think about that tonight.